So in order to check the voltage on an electric fence, you need one of these specific meters made specifically for electric fences. And the reason is an electric fence puts out a short pulse. So short, it's about 3/10,000ths of a second. That a regular volt ohm meter that you buy at the hardware store that measures volts, ohms, and stuff will not register a pulse that short, that fast. It's just too fast. Not only that, this is not made for 4,000 to 8,000. Electric fence is above the range. You very well could ruin this meter. So you need something that's specifically an electric fence tester. So in this video, I'll compare 3 different fence testers. The first one, you can see, turns on automatically as soon as it gets near a hot wire. And it has a wire coming out of it with a ground probe. You stick it in the ground to ground the meter, and then you touch the meter to the fence, and we get 6,000 volts. This meter, all it's going to do is tell you 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Okay? Has a little slot where you put the wire right in that slot, and then you push the button down. Every fence is 10,000. So if you check your fence every day at the same spot and it's 10,000, 10,000 every day, and then one day it's 8,000, better walk your fence and check to make sure there's no weeds or anything on it. In comparison, the other tester that I've been using, you can see it says 7,000. So the other meter with the ground probe says 6,000. So that's a little more accurate. Whereas this, like I said before, reads about 2,000 volts high. So this is the spot on my fence where the wire, the insulated wire from the charger comes out and brings electricity and puts it on the fence. And you can see I have a jumper wire that goes up and connects to the other wire. Okay, so if we check with our fence with a fault finder at this spot, we get 8,212 amps going to the left. You can see the little arrow pointing to the left. So that is normal. If you check the fence every day at the same spot and it's the same every day, then your fence is working fine. If we come out here one day and instead of 12 amps, we've got 99 amps or 40 amps, then we got a problem. And we follow the little arrow down until it shows us where the short is. But you can see on this fence is not a loop fence. It means it goes to a dead end. So we're going to go check it at the dead end, and we're going to show you that the voltage on the dead end is always a little bit higher. So here we are at the end of the fence, because this fence goes to a dead end, and we can see the voltage is a lot higher. It's near 10,000. However, this meter has been calibrated. I checked it with the label inside the charger, and it runs about 2,000 volts high. So the voltage on this fence is really 8,000, which is okay because the effective range on an electric fence is between 4,000 and 8,000. So if you're below that range, there's a reason your fence is not going to keep the animals in or out. We're going to go look at that next. So why do I say the effective voltage range for an electric fence is 4,000 to 8,000? The reason is, if the voltage goes below 4,000, it's not strong enough, doesn't have a strong enough push behind it to penetrate the animal's skin and hair to deliver a shock to the animal, or to exit the animal through the hoofs into the soil. If the voltage goes over 8,000, then it gets too energetic. It has too big of a push behind it, and it more easily shorts itself out when the fence post is wet and it finds other roots to ground that it wouldn't normally find in the effective range of 4,000 to 8,000. So 4,000, 8,000 is plenty of voltage when you've got, and remember the voltage is just one aspect. The voltage is how far the voltage can punch, how far it will jump. Like if you see a spark plug and it has an air gap, well, a bigger voltage is going to jump farther and a less voltage is going to jump less. But it's not, that's just the jump of it, the energy of it. What really delivers the power of shock is the joules, and that delivers the punch. I mean, this is the voltage is how hard the reach is, but the punch is how hard is the fence punching. So that's what the joules are. Joules, again, is watts times time, which you cannot measure with a meter, but it's rated on the fence charger. So on this fence, you can see we're at the very end of the fence where it comes to a dead end. And the voltage is just barely in the effective range. I have 6,300, 6,100. And again, with this meter, we subtract 2,000 volts because it reads 2,000 high. That's just the way it was made at the factory. And we're really getting 4,000, about 4,000 volts, a little over 4,000. And if we look at the reason why, well, this fence has a lot of weeds. It's been weed-eated, but there's still a lot of weeds touching the fence. So by weed-eating the fence, we could certainly bring the voltage up higher to a more effective range. So this shows you that the fence, yeah, it can handle some weeds, but there's going to become a point where the weeds overcome the fence, bring the voltage down too low, and it was no longer an effective range. Now, in contrast to the previous overgrown fence you just saw with the lower voltage, look at this fence. This is what a fence should look like. It's not overgrown, it's clean on both sides of the fence. There's absolutely nothing touching it. And what kind of voltage do we get on this fence? $8.8. We subtract 2,000, we're getting 6.8. Well in the middle of the 4,000 to 8,000 effective range. Here is why I said that my meter reads 2,000 volts less than what you see here on the display. The actual voltage is 2,000 volts less. Is if you take any Cyclops charger and open it up, there's a service label inside of it. And it says right here, the output with no load, that means just the fence charger by itself, is 8,500 volts. The output with the load, that means when it's connected to your fence, is going to be about 5,700 volts. So all I did was take my meter, knowing that the fence should be 5,700, and if I put my meter on the fence and it says 7,700, well, it reads 2,000 high. So you can check this voltage if you want to be precise and see exactly where your meter reads. Is it accurate or is it reading a little on the high side? Also, keep in mind that this is a 2.5 joule charger, and it says the actual output is 3 joules. That means with a Cyclops charger, you're always getting a little bit more joules, a little bit more power than advertised.